Welcome back. The news in details. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was sworn in on Tuesday for a new presidential term running from 2024 to 2030. In his address following taking the oath in the new administrative capital, he said he highly values the Egyptian people. He vowed to fulfill the people's aspirations and continue on with the path of building the nation. He said he has always pursued transparency for the sake of the nation, adding that great leaps were made in a short period of time amid many hardships.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was sworn in on Tuesday for a new presidential term running from 2024 to 2030. In his address following taking the oath in the new administrative capital, President el-Sisi said he highly values the Egyptian people. He vowed to fulfill the people's aspirations and continue with the path of building the nation. The head of state said he has always pursued transparency for the sake of the nation, adding that great leaps were made in a short period amid many hardships. El-Sisi noted that there are plans to increase the area of agricultural land and production levels to achieve Egypt's food security. The president further reiterated that he would work on building balanced relations with all global parties. He stressed that protecting Egypt's regional security is a priority before current challenges, which he said drew attention that there is a time race. President El-Sisi said international and regional circumstances directly impact the internal scene. El-Sisi said the state is working on boosting political cooperation and solidifying Egypt's economic potentials. He affirmed that the private sector's participation in various development fields is to be expanded during the new tenure. He reiterated that the state is working on controlling spending and reducing the public debt. President El-Sisi said supporting social solidarity networks and increasing the funding of the Solidarity and Dignity Initiative also topped the state's priorities. He said efforts are underway to expand economic capabilities of the Suez Canal. Following the speech, President El-Sisi visited the memorial at the new administrative capital and signed the Book of Honor before raising the flag at the new administrative capital.
Earlier, the parliament held a special session for the swearing-in of President El-Sisi for a new presidential term. Inaugurating the session, Parliament Speaker Councillor Hanafi Geberi said, "A new page is being written in the history of Egypt." He said President El-Sisi has sought to support the rights of women and the youth. Geberi promised President El-Sisi and the people of Egypt to continue with the path of development. President El-Sisi took an oath for a new presidential term from 2024 till 2030. Following the oath, the president delivered a speech which dealt with the challenges the state faced in the past few years. Later, President El-Sisi visited the Martyrs Memorial at the new administrative capital. Moreover, the head of state raised Egypt's flag in the new administrative capital. The new administrative capital is not just an ordinary city. It symbolizes the ambition and significant progress in Egypt, truly a jewel among new cities. It encompasses various upscale residential, commercial, cultural, and entertainment areas that add a distinct allure to the lives of its residents, accommodate the ever-increasing population growth, with expectations that the greater Cairo area, including the administrative capital, will host over 40 million people by 2040. More on the new capital in this report.
The new administrative capital, Egypt's new jewel. The new administrative capital is not just an ordinary city. It symbolizes the ambition and the significant progress in Egypt, truly a jewel among the new cities. This city stands as a serious response to the challenges of the population growth and the future aspirations with its unique architectural structure. It encompasses various upscale residential, commercial, cultural, and entertainment areas that add a distinct allure to the lives of the residents. It's a city that blends modernity, development, and prosperity, providing multiple opportunities for living and investment, reflecting the Egyptian readiness for a promising future. Moreover, it offers a wide range of high-quality real estate that caters to the diverse needs. The new administrative capital stands as an exceptional project that reflects the Egyptian ambition for the future. With its innovative design and ambitious economic strategy, it is situated just 45 kilometers east of Cairo and holds the title of being the largest new city in Egypt. Stretching across a vast area covering approximately 170,000 acres, the new administrative capital exhibits forward thinking when it comes to the demographic challenges. It is determined to accommodate the ever-increasing population growth, with expectations that the Greater Cairo area, including the administrative capital, will host over 40 million people by 2040. This large figure demonstrates the proactive approach to urban planning and the focus on providing high-quality living and diverse opportunities for the city's residents in this promising metropolis. The strategic location of the new administrative capital is one of the most prominent features of the massive project. It is situated between Cairo and the city of Suez, specifically on the border of Bedri city, and it's only about 60 kilometers away from the city of Suez and the Ain al-Sukhna resort. Furthermore, it is the same distance from the center of Cairo. This strategic positioning makes it a central element in facilitating the movement and connectivity between the major urban areas in Egypt. Additionally, the new capital stands out for the location between two main roads, the Cairo-Suez Road and the Cairo-Ain al-Sukhna Road, along with the Mohammed bin Zayed axis, which increases the attractiveness to both the investors and the residents. These prominent landmarks are integral to the charm and the diversity that the new administrative capital in Egypt offers, blending modernity, culture, and entertainment. The iconic tower, the tallest in Africa, Al-Fattah Al-Alim Mosque, one of the largest mosques in Egypt, accommodating thousands of worshippers, making it a prominent religious landmark in the city. The Nativity of Christ Cathedral, one of the largest cathedrals in the Middle East, covering an area of 63,000 square meters. The Green River Park, a chain of parks set to become the largest in the world. The Octagon, the new headquarters for the Egyptian Ministry of Defense and the Strategic State Leadership Center. The Capital International Airport, a new airport to alleviate the burden on the Cairo International Airport. The new administrative capital stadium, Sports City Stadium, located in the Egypt International Sports City and expected to have a capacity of approximately 90,000 spectators. The conference hall, the new conference center, extends over an area of up to 42,000 square meters.
An unprecedented boom in enhancing the status of Egyptian women in all sectors witnessed during the past 10 years Egypt's broad steps towards implementing the national strategy for women's empowerment 2030 after 10 years of supporting women's rights and empowering them politically, socially and economically. The positive international vision of women empowerment in Egypt is reviewed as the UN Women in 2023 highlighted the improvement in the women's representation on boards of directors and senior leadership positions.
An unprecedented boom in enhancing the status of Egyptian women in all sectors witnessed during the past 10 years. Egypt's broad step toward implementing the National Strategy for Women Empowerment 2030 after 10 years of supporting women's rights and empowering them politically, socially and economically. The positive, independent international vision of women's empowerment in Egypt is reviewed as UN Women in 2023 highlighted the improvement in women representation on boards of directors and senior leadership positions in companies listed on the Egyptian Stock Exchange, the banking sector, the public business sector and non-banking financial institutions, as it increases annually by 3%, while these companies are expected to achieve the 2030 strategy goal for having women reach 30% on boards of directors by the year 2026. For its part, the World Bank indicated in 2023 that Egypt has over the past decade made significant investments in narrowing gender gaps in the fields of health and education, as well as launching the National Strategy for Empowering Egyptian Women 2030 in 2017, which represents an incentive to create more sustainable job opportunities. In turn, Jeremy Hopkins, UNICEF representative in Egypt in 2023, expressed his happiness at seeing the Egyptian government paying great attention to investing for girls in Egypt, stressing that the partnership led by the National Council for Women, the National Council for Childhood and Motherhood, UNICEF and the United Nations Population Fund will have an effective role in accelerating the pace of work on the plan to achieve the desired transformation. Meanwhile, Egypt has advanced 48 ranks in the indicators of political empowerment of women in a global report on gender gap, according to the Cabinet Media Center. According to the report, Egypt has reached its best level in 10 years regarding progress made in empowering women. In 2021, Egypt ranked 78th position compared to 126 in 2011. Egypt advanced 70 positions in the indicator of women representation in parliament, where it occupied the 66th position in 2021 compared to 136 in 2020. In addition to advancing 5 positions in education indicator for women, where it occupied the 105th position in 2021 compared to the position 110 in 2011. Egyptian women enjoyed unique and unprecedented gains in the era of the new republic, as the Egyptian state was keen to launch strategies, initiatives, and community programs that support women, which contributed to building their capabilities and capacities and empowering them politically, economically, and socially. According to several reports and reviews on the progress made in the Presidential Development Initiative, Hayat Karima, it is highly proven that women are the main and biggest beneficiary of the initiative, and they have obtained important political gains to support them and raise their awareness.
Egypt applies several social protection programs to face global economic crises and support citizens. The Egyptian government exerted sincere efforts over the past 10 years to support the Egyptian citizens and upgrade the social protection programs to improve the lives of the most needy groups. The government, which invests in social safety, is working on a long-term strategy and an integrated vision to ensure the inclusion of every citizen so they can live a decent life.
The Egyptian government exerted sincere efforts over the past 10 years to support the Egyptian citizen and to upgrade the social protection programs to improve lives of the most needy groups. The government, which invests in social safety, is working on a long-term strategy and an integrated vision to ensure the inclusion of every citizen can live in a decent life free of poverty. The social protection programs are not merely limited to reducing poverty, but it also pertains to creating a better future. Minister of Planning and Economic Development Hel El-Said asserted that the Egyptian government applied several social protection programs in light of economic global crisis. El-Said said that the government increased the minimum wage rate at the level of the government, the private sector, and the pensions, and increased the social protection bundles. She said the government launched the biggest developmental program in the world, Decent Life, Hayat Karima, which targets the services presented to citizens in the Egyptian villages. For the first time, the Egyptian state directs all the investments to more than 58% of the citizens in Egypt. The government started rationalizing the expenditure on infrastructure and directed the investment to the sector of health, education, and communication, asserting that the government during the coronavirus crisis increased its investments by 400% in the field of communication and information technology, in addition to investing in the human elements. In Egypt Vision 2063, El-Said said that the vision reflects the vision of the private sector, intellectuals, civil society, and university professors, adding that it has dimensions on economy, social protection, and maintaining the resources. Egypt is working on improving the condition of investing in the human elements. This important investment is done by providing good educational and health services. Egypt is actively working to enhance its social protection system, aiming for greater flexibility, inclusivity, and sustainability. Minister of Finance Mohammed Maid highlighted that the government recently launched a range of financial packages in order to alleviate the economic challenges resulting from the complex global crises. Over the last 3 years, the Egyptian government has allocated approximately 450 billion Egyptian pounds for social incentive programs, including consecutive wage and pension increases, as well as Takaful and Karama and social solidarity initiatives. He emphasized the high priority placed on health, education, and social protection sectors, aligning with Egypt's Vision 2030 and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The ministry has embarked on more than 529 billion Egyptian pound for social protection programs in the fiscal year 2023-2024, a significant increase from 244 billion Egyptian pounds allocated in 2014-2015. Furthermore, the government has boosted funding for Takaful and Karama program, reaching 35.6 billion Egyptian pounds in the current fiscal year compared to 12.1 billion in 2014-2015. In September, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi increased Takaful and Karama benefits for the 5 million households by 15% and doubled the exceptional grant for 11 million pensioners and beneficiaries for 600 Egyptian pounds. Takaful and Karama, a cornerstone of Egypt's social protection system, was launched in 2015 to provide support to impoverished families with school-aged children, older people, and people with special needs in Upper Egypt. According to a recent World Bank report, Egypt is leading among countries in the Middle East and North Africa, MENA, in providing social protection programs. The report indicated that the government assistance benefits 25% of the poorest household in Egypt, with social protection registries covering over 50% of the population. Egypt's efforts aim to support the most economically vulnerable groups facing rising prices and increasing inflation rates.
In the shadow of global technological advancements, the national healthcare sector is undergoing a significant transformation. Healthcare in Egypt, in particular, is emerging as a dynamic fusion of technology and medicine, heralding a new era of progress and innovation.
For the past 10 years, the government, upon directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, has been keen on improving the national healthcare system. The improvement of the healthcare services comes in line with the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. The government attaches due importance to the comprehensive health insurance system covering all social segments and to complete the implementation of the health insurance project, which was launched by President al-Sisi in 2018. The head of state has directed the Tahya Misr Fund to allocate £1 billion for the presidential initiative aimed at ending waiting lists. About 466 public and private hospitals participated in the initiative. The president gave his directives to provide additional financial resources to expand the initiative and add new surgical specialties. The head of state also underlined the need to raise citizens' awareness on how to benefit from this initiative and to simplify the relevant administrative procedure. The state has been exerting relentless efforts to localize the vaccines industry with the aim of making vaccines available at both local and African markets, in addition to its efforts to raise the efficiency of hospitals' performance, aiming to offer best services to citizens. Egypt trains medical cadres and supplies hospitals with modern medical equipment and apparatus needed to undergo surgical operations, in addition to promoting the digital system used to facilitate following up the initiative initiatives work and getting data. Moreover, the overall medical insurance system has been upgraded around the country during the past few years as the state is expanding health services being offered to citizens as well as carrying out its Decent Life initiative that serves the countryside at large. The President also is keen to follow up on the state's health map. This included the number of government and private medical facilities, their medical equipment, medical staff, as well as linking the health map to the database of the presidential initiative 100 million health and its health and medical care programs and initiatives for citizens. Meanwhile, Minister of Finance and Head of the General Authority for the Universal Health Insurance System, Muhammad Mait, announced that the government plans to raise healthcare spending by 15% in the fiscal year 2023-2024. Mait said that healthcare spending has already been raised by 10% during the first 9 months of the fiscal year 2022-2023. Egypt's Universal Health Insurance System initial phase was launched in the governorates of Port Said, Ismailia, Suez, South Sinai and North Sinai. The healthcare scheme, consisting of 6 phases, began as an experiment in Port Said in early 2018 before expanding in Luxor and Ismailia. The lowest income citizens were prioritized in the program schedule while Cairo was relegated to the final phase. The Egyptian healthcare sector is predicted to grow by 5.2% in the fiscal year 2023-2024. The fiscal year 2023-2024 budget will allocate approximately £436 billion in investments for educational, healthcare and other social services, constituting 26.4% of total investments. Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Hala Said, emphasized the improving health level of citizens is a proper human right in line with the main principles of the National Human Rights Strategy, which crystallize around the human rights to obtain high-quality health care. At the top of these constitutional rights is the allocation of funds necessary to ensure comprehensive health care for citizens, channeling at least 3% of the gross domestic product to improve health services. Said added that the provision of the comprehensive health care is one of the main components of building the Egyptian nation because it ensures comprehensive health care for all citizens and offers a radical solution to development gaps, ensuring the improvement of people's living standards. Said noted that the 2024-2023 plan aims to allocate an estimated total investment of £75 billion in health services, which is 4.6% of the total investment in the plan for the same year, to implement many developmental initiatives and projects in the development of health services. Healthcare in Egypt, in particular, is emerging as a dynamic fusion of technology and medicine, heralding a new era of progress and innovation. With this promising horizon, the health tech industry in Egypt faces its unique set of regulatory challenges, each reflecting the nation's commitment to ensuring the safety and welfare of citizens.
Head of the National Media Authority, Hussein Zain, congratulated President Sisi on taking the constitutional oath for a new term on Tuesday. Zain extended his congratulations to President Sisi, asking God to guide his steps in the path of development and construction. He also wished President Sisi to complete the process of building the nation and achieving the aspirations of Egyptians in a modern, democratic state, stressing that the great national achievements and projects reveal the full awareness of the Egyptian people as they renew confidence in